Welcome to the Julian and G.K podcast.
And it's true. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Julian and G.K podcast. It's been a minute, y'all. We were on and popping a few years ago. Had some stuff because life be lifing, so we had our hiatus, but we are back. And we are back for the most important part of the year anyway, which is the jammies.
Jammies?
The jammies.
Ooh, that felt good.
Yeah, right? It's like it's been building up for years, so it's nice for us to be back doing the jammies. For our old-time listeners, you already know what the jammies is all about. But for our new listeners, let's explain it real quick. The jammies, we call it the jammies because me and GK here, we are of Jamaican culture. We are Jamaican Americans, Jamericans, for a better term.
Dual citizen.
Yes, dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Yes, so so that's why we call it the jammies, because we are Jamaicans who we love everything. We love wrestling, we love pop culture. So this first one that we're doing today is, we might do the pop culture one first, we'll see. But this one is going to be about wrestling. We're going to be talking about the year that was in wrestling. That's where my man GK here is wearing his hustle, loyalty, respect, giving props to Cena. We're filming this just as like less than a week after Cena's final match, so I'm sure we'll have some thoughts on that. But before we get started with everything, my man GK, how are you doing, man?
Man, we made it. We got a studio space. We got a logo.
Look at that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Things are right in the world.
Yeah.
In some ways, but as much as things change, some things stay the same. So wrestling has been a staple for both of our lives for reasons we've explained in previous podcasts, if you've been rocking with us. But yeah, it's something that's been passed down to us from previous generations in our family that we are doing our parts to carry. We're doing our part.
Yes.
But we're here to tell you how and if wrestling did their part.
Yes.
Because we're all here for the culture.
Exactly, man. Couldn't have said it better myself. This is something that's ingrained in us, passed down generation to generation, and we love it. Like we love wrestling, the ups and the downs.
For better or worse.
There's been a lot of ups and downs during our lifetime when it comes to wrestling. And 2025, I think we're going to get into it. I think it was an okay year, not the highest of highs. I feel like a couple of years ago, we really hit some highs in wrestling. It was a little bit more down this year, but I still think overall we had a pretty good year when it comes to wrestling. So, but you ready to get into these categories?
Let's do it, man.
All right, let's do it.
I got notes.
Yeah.
That's right. Keep your apps, keep your AI. You know what I'm saying? If you're team paper and pen.
So this will show you the difference between me and GK. GK is old school here. You got the notes. Me, I'm like Drake, man. I'm going off my iPhone. That's what I'm doing. Going off my iPhone. Hopefully I don't get bodied in this like he did with Kendrick, but we'll see. So first category.
And just so y'all know, we do not go over this beforehand. We know the categories.
Yes.
But we will likely not agree on most of this. So y'all let us know what you think.
Yeah.
At the end of this. All right. First of all, let's. You want to give them all the categories at once?
All right, sure.
Or you want to?
I'll run down like all the categories we're going to go through, and then I'll start it off. So we're going to do male wrestler of the year, female wrestler of the year. We're going to do the feud of the year, the OMG, oh my God, moment of the year, the worst moment or match of the year, the breakout star of the year, the show of the year, like, pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you prefer to call it, and then finally the match of the year. So those are going to be the categories we go over today. The first one we're going to do, let's start with male wrestler of the year. Now, GK, this was, a lot of people broke through, a lot of people stepped up in 2025, but who do you think was the best male wrestler of 2025?
See, one of the tricky things about being a wrestling fan is, unlike other forms of sports and entertainment, wrestling, you really have to be there, right? You can't look back at old stats. You can't really get the gist of it through highlights and clips. You really have to be, 10 toes down during the era to really get the essence of who these wrestlers are, what they're about, and what would make them even interesting. And we've talked about this off camera. Some are easy sells. Roman Reigns is an easy sell. Yeah. All right, I'm still out in these streets, so so if I'm trying to talk to women and I have to hit them at some time with the nugget that I'm lifelong into wrestling. I have to tread carefully and lightly and efficiently. So, you don't, it's like a one strike you're out type deal in most sense. So you have to start them off with the good stuff that, if you see it, you get it. Roman, you see him, you get it.
Immediately.
CM Punk, you need context. You got to explain. Cody Rhodes, you need context. You know what I mean? I think we get the point. Jade Cargill, you get it.
Yeah.
If you see her, right?
Yeah.
Io Sky, you need context. Rhea, you get it. You get it. So in that sense, I look at things kind of like yearbooks, kind of like pop culture yearbooks. When you look back at 2025, who's the first people you'll think of? What are the first moments you'll think of? So that being the case, I don't see how John Cena is not the male wrestler of 2025. Depending on how you feel about how the year went, it still revolved around him. And I realized that with some of the backlash after his retirement match and the finish. Yeah. And I've watched a whole lot of John Cena interviews, like Chris Van Vliet, Joe Rogan, Bill Simmons, etc. In accordance to those interviews, the heel turn was not part of the original plan for the year. And there's a difference between the turn and the run. Now, a lot of people are forgetting, it's not like Cena's never been a heel before. It's just been a long time. And it was shocking the way it was done. So there's no question about it. But then came the aftermath. It came, The Rock dropped out. Travis Scott no-showed and dropped out. But what people are not realizing is, in Cena's last year, he dedicated the year to making everybody else, or giving flowers to everybody else. Royal Rumble, he helped make Jay. The next few months was about Cody. It was all about Cody. Turned heel. Maybe there was audibles, of course. Yeah. But the plan was always for them to finish their story at SummerSlam. Was the plan for him to always be face and turn back? I don't think so. We'll never have that totally confirmed. Yeah. But that was all to make Cody. He gave Logan a match. He brought back Brock, to give Brock heat again. He gave a love letter to wrestling through AJ Styles. And he helped Dom. He wrestled Dom twice. 2 of his last 3 matches went to Dom. So, and Gunther, of course. So, if you think about it, the year is about him, but he really paid it forward all year round. So, even R-Truth, Miz got in there, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, you name it. So I really think, and all the behind-the-scenes stuff that he does as a leader, especially with the women wrestlers. So I really think this was the year of Cena, and it should be. Dom was my runner-up, but I think it's Cena.
Yeah, I mean, hard to dispute that. Of course, I'm going to dispute that because that's just how I am. Mm-hmm. But it is hard to dispute that because, this year was 100% built around Cena in WWE. From the beginning of the year until the end, it revolved around his retirement. And like you said, he was instrumental in so many things. His heel turn is one of the most shocking and biggest stories in wrestling in, forever. Mm-hmm. So it's the final match. I love the final match. I know there's a lot of detractors to it, but I think that it went the way it was supposed to. And like you said, he made a lot of people during that time. So definitely a great pick.
And also, one more thing. No, wrestlers usually don't retire. Mm-hmm. They stay way too long, or they retire, then they come back and they ruin their retirement. Yeah. Cena is the first to have a proper farewell tour. He did all the dates, stayed healthy enough, he at 48, and he's legit bona fide star now. So if he had done this tour in 2019, 2020, it wouldn't have hit the same whatsoever. More people know who he is. Yeah. And these younger generations, you don't realize that they're dumb. They don't know that he was a wrestler first. Yeah. We talk about this stuff first. They don't know that The Rock was a wrestler first. They don't know Batista was a wrestler first. Yeah. They don't know Will Smith was a rapper first. You know what I mean? But we keep having to explain this to you youngins. Why? Come on, man.
Listen, they
Look
know
it up.
They know what's in front of them. That's true.
Look it up.
Like Google it. That does drive me nuts. It's like, I didn't know that. It's Google. Just Google someone.
Yeah.
You get the answer in 5 seconds.
Yeah, do it. Now, I don't know what a labubu is, and I don't care, and I'm not going to Google it. I have my boundaries.
That's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw me at the marathon, at New York City Marathon, hosting the finish line.
Yeah.
You saw my investigative journalism. You saw me try to go to the source and crack the code of what in the hell 6'7" means.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
Yeah.
Could I look it up at any point? Sure.
Yeah.
Will I? No.
No. That little go try.
And I'm
best.
fine with it.
But
I'm good. Y'all can have that.
That's for the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like with Beavis and Butthead, and we were saying cornholio, and adults were like, "What?" But we got it, so it didn't matter if they didn't get it, you know. So, but yeah,
you can have it.
You can have that.
There you go.
So for my male wrestler of the year, just to throw out like a couple of people I put down as nominees, Gunther, of course, further solidified by him retiring John Cena, Bandito, Kyle Fletcher, Obafemi, Cody, Zack Sabre Jr., Mike Santana, CM Punk, Trick Williams, Mystico, Hangman Adam Page, Joe Hendry, Jay Uso, a lot of people, lot of people that had really good years. But mine is like complete opposite of John Cena. But this is the person that I feel I was most entertained by. That's how I kind of judge these things. Is who entertained me the most in the year. And the person who entertained me the most from AEW and New Japan Wrestling and DDT Wrestling is Konosuke Takeshita. I can't even say his name correctly, but Takeshita. Konosuke Takeshita, to me, is one of the most exciting wrestlers I've seen come along on the scene in a while, because he could do everything. You want him to fly, he could fly. You want him to do hard-hitting brawls, he can do that. You want him to just go crazy and have like a 30-minute match that's like one of the most amazing matches you'll ever see, he can do that. You want him to do a sprint in 5 minutes and make it one of the most entertaining 5-minute matches you've ever seen, he can do that. And most importantly, he did this in 3 different organizations. He's so good that the 3 organizations collectively agreed, we need to have him, so we will share him with the other 2 organizations rather than, because he straight up said, I'm not signing exclusively to anyone. So either you allow me to be with the other organizations or you don't get me at all. And all 3 of them said, no problem, because that's how good he is. And the fact that he's like in AEW he won the G1 Climax in New Japan. He's currently doing the Continental Classic. So he's doing 2 round-robin tournaments in 1 year, which is insane. Like, I've never heard of another wrestler doing that. And he won the IWGP title, New Japan's top title. So he's now their champion, while also wrestling in AEW, while also wrestling in DDT. I just think he's phenomenal. And I've never seen a match of his that did not entertain me. So that's why he is my pick of 2025 Male Wrestler of the Year, Konosuke Takeshita.
Welcome to the podcast, y'all. And that was just category number 1.
So you'll see the wide gamut that we're gonna go through with this. It's like, we don't agree on a lot of things. We surprise ourselves sometimes, but our wrestling fandom is a little bit different. I'm a full-fledged, complete wrestling nerd. Like, I'm the weirdo that will go and look at like old WCCW matches from the 80s. Like, I love stuff like that, and GK loves the spectacle, the grandeur of wrestling, the moments, the things that you love. And it's like, and me, I like that stuff too, but I'm a wrestling guy. It's like I want to watch like a 45-minute technical masterpiece more than like a moment. So that's where we kind of differ, but the love of wrestling is still there for both of us. Yeah. So so John Cena, Konosuke Takeshita.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So
all right, we're rolling now.
We're rolling. So let's go into Female Wrestler of the Year. So this was I'll say this, like, the ladies had a really good year. A lot of good women for this category. And like, I think if you look in wrestling now, it's really interesting. And even like Shawn Michaels said this recently when he was interviewed. He said the women nowadays are so much easier to teach than the men. He said, like, that's why you see so many women from NXT that get called up quicker than the men do. He said, because they just get it. Like, the women come in and they're immediately like latching onto stuff. They're teachable. They're absorbing it, and that's why I think that a lot of times you'll see, particularly in WWE and even other places, the women run the show. Like, the men are there, but a lot of times the highest rated segments, the people who get the loudest pops, the loudest reactions are the women. So I think this was a great year for female wrestling. So, GK, who do you think was the Female Wrestler of the Year?
That's interesting, considering that I'm the one who watches LFG, and I'm trying to get you to watch it. But,
I can't.
but he's right. The women are better.
Yeah.
It's yeah. They take to it. The athleticism. They get the psychology faster, and they just know their bodies better. They're more fluid. They're more natural with the movements and the character work. So you know, if you watch LFG, you do. But speaking of character work. Man, she wasn't here for a long time this year, but she was here for the goodest of times I've ever seen any wrestler, woman or man, have in any year. But the transformation of Naomi made it kind of an easy pick. I mean, Io is the obvious pick, but I feel like they groomed Io for that. She was pushed to the moon. You know, they gave her all these triple threats in their biggest spots for her to win.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, that was the plan. So she was getting, late flowers, which is fine. But speaking of late flowers, Naomi's calling girls heifers. And it's hilarious. I think the heel turn was so well done. The work that she did with Bianca and Jade was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that perceived a caution thing would catch on as fast as it did, and we went to SummerSlam. Yep. We went to a bunch of shows this year. We went to both nights of SummerSlam.
Yeah.
We went to some indie shows.
Yeah.
But that's a different story. But yeah, and then what better way to leave for the year by getting knocked up by Big Jim?
Big Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And her social media game is top notch. Yes. So yeah, Naomi, about time. Congrats. Well done. That's my woman wrestler of the year.
Yeah. I mean. I'm not gonna lie. That was my pick for a minute. I kept going back and forth between three people, but I love Naomi. I like from the time she first debuted in WWE. I've always thought that she was very underrated, and this was the year that she really kind of came into her own. And this is why it's like I'm both happy for them and also mad at Big Jim. I'm like, come on, Big Jim, you got to knock her up when she's at the heights. But it's like, listen, when nature calls and duty calls, it's going to come. It's going to come when you least expect it. So, I can't fault them for that. And congratulations to them again. But, just to go into some other, top class nominees for the year, of course, Io Sky, Toni Storm, Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, Laya Valkyria, Athena, Saya Kamatina, Chris Statlander. There was so many fantastic, great female wrestlers this year. But the one that I had to give it to, because it was just once again, and it kind of goes into my male wrestler of the year. Someone who wrestled everywhere. Someone who really was trying to make her stamp to spread women's wrestling as much as she could, and just be a fantastic, annoying heel. And that's Mercedes Moné. 13 belts Moné. It's just, I just love what she did with her gimmick. The Ultimo Monet trying to, beat Ultimo Dragon's record for most titles held at one time. And the way that she just, so obnoxious with it, it just makes it so great. I feel like she really came to her own. When she first came to AEW, I'm not going to lie, I felt like it was it wasn't great. She was trying to find her character. She was trying to be a face. She was trying to, appease to the crowd. And I feel like once she started to lean into, kind of that boss persona that she had when she was in WWE and said, no, I'm not going to be nice. I'm going to be the most irritating, annoying, wrestler you can think of, but I'm going to back it up in the ring. And that's what she did. She's had some fantastic matches this year, great character work. So I kept going back and forth between Mercedes and Naomi, but it's just honestly, if Naomi had stayed around the whole year, I probably would have given it to her, but I had to give the slight edge to Mercedes just because she was around the whole year and did a phenomenal work with the time that she had.
All right, we are a hard 0 for 2. We're gonna agree on one of these.
I feel like we're gonna get to one. We'll see.
We'll see, or it might be like Love Is Blind this season, and just go a hard 0.
Listen, don't get started on Love Is Blind.
Dog, no couples,
zero.
Bro. We'll say that for the other podcast.
We're gonna save that for the pop culture podcast. Man. But that was wow.
Stop doing black people dirty on these shows. Anyway, sorry.
Exactly. Sorry. We're gonna go off on a whole tangent on that.
Yep.
But let's do OMG. Oh my God! Moment of the year. What moment this year, GK, made you say, oh my God?
All right, we're just going to save time here. It is Cena's heel turn. Seth Rollins' ruse was my second, but we were there. We were there for the second night. People were calling it out before it happened.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which leads to my hot take, because I don't have to explain the Cena heel turn. I'm starting to think that wrestling shows are not built for stadiums. I think they're more for arenas.
Okay.
You know, the smaller ring, especially the outdoor stadiums, the weather's so hit or miss. We were at WrestleMania 40.
Yes.
Can we just clear this up now? So WrestleMania 40 was dope. We can all agree.
Yes.
Especially night 2. Night 1 was a great setup for night 2.
Yeah.
And, of course, this was in Philly, in the Link. And you know, we watched the show, and then, you know, we're driving back to our hotel, and, you know, we're going through social media, like, going through the comments, like, everybody was feeling it, like, we were getting ripped.
Yep.
Like, this crowd is mid, this crowd is trash.
Yep.
They don't make no noise at all. But, like, because it was freezing.
Yes.
It was 24 degrees.
Yes.
And we were not ready.
Nobody was ready.
Yeah, and we didn't know until we watched the broadcast later that I think Michael Cole had pointed out before the end of the night.
Yeah.
Now, night 2 wasn't as cold for whatever reason, but no, night 1 was cold as hell. So get off us. But yeah, I think and then again, these were moments where the follow through didn't work. Rollins got injured, and whatever happened behind the scenes with Travis Scott and The Rock clearly changed something.
Yeah.
And I will give Cena credit. He went with it. His promos, his reasoning made sense.
Yeah.
And you could feel that was coming from a true place. But this is part of the problem that I feel like wrestling has now, and instead of combating it, they're leading more into it, which shows like Unreal. Mm-hmm. You can't buy Cena as a heel because you watch him on Monday or Friday, like, you know, running people down, and then the next day you're watching him make a wish for a Make-A-Wish kid the next day. Like, you know, so the duality doesn't work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The Wyatt Six doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. For that reason. Like, The Undertaker, you know, that's why he's The Undertaker. But you can't have an Undertaker now because everybody's too exposed and everybody has too much access to everybody. Yeah. We know Dom's not with Liv. Yeah. So, you see what I'm saying? So, I feel like that really hurt Cena's heel turn as well. People just, it's not so much that he's so heroic and they didn't want to see it. You did want to see it.
Yeah.
But it's just, everybody just knows that he's just such a charitable human being, and even when he was making these appearances and press junkets as John Cena, he was still as humble and personable as he usually is. Mm-hmm. So you can't. I'm old school. You can't really have the two. Like, Kane, you're gonna wear that mask at your kid's PTA meeting. You're probably wearing it in your mayor's office now. So, you know what I mean? But that's how it should be. Yeah. That's what separates wrestling from the other forms of entertainment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Dolph Ziggler's hair is blonde 24/7. You know that's not his natural hair color. So it's so there you go. But Cena's heel turns moment ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, you just said a moment ago, like, I'm sure we'll agree on something. This is the one we agree on.
There you go.
It's absolutely Cena's heel turn. It couldn't be anything else. It's like, yeah, Brock had his return at SummerSlam that people weren't expecting. Yeah, Rollins had his return, but like GK mentioned, people kind of foreshadowed it and kind of thought that was going to happen anyway. Cena's heel turn, I don't think anyone thought was coming. It was a genuine shock. Like, I still remember when it happened, like, I immediately texted GK, and I think you were out somewhere that night, and you were like, wow, what happened? And I did not want to spoil it for him, so I was just like, when you get a chance, watch Elimination Chamber as quickly as you can.
That was with the wrong people.
Yeah, because it was something that was unforeseen. We've been calling this for 20 years, people have been saying, John Cena needs to turn heel. John Cena needs to turn heel. So nobody expected that in his final year, that this was going to be the year they do. Everyone thought that he was going to, do the baby wave momentum right out into the sunset, fully as a babyface. So to have that heel turn, which is so shocking and unexpected, I thought somebody was going to turn heel that night, but I thought it was going to be CM Punk. I thought, okay, Punk's going to turn heel. That's going to set up Punk versus Cody at WrestleMania. That's going to be the main event. So when I saw it was Cena, I was flabbergasted. And we could nitpick everything that happened afterwards, but like GK said, it was a lot of that was stuff that was out of Cena's control, out of WWE's control. So they had to kind of pivot where they could. But in terms of shocking moments, that is to me one of the top 5 shocking moments in WWE history. It's or wrestling history, honestly. It's Hogan's heel turn is still going to be number 1 forever to me, because it's just it was even though RIP to that man, but how we feel if you watch our previous podcast. But at the time in 1996, Like, that was unheard of. So I feel like the same goes for Cena. Someone who's been a babyface for so long, and like GK said, you do the Make-A-Wish stuff, you're, good guy in real life, all this stuff. To see that heel turn, it was unforeseen. So, absolutely, OMG moment of the year, Cena turning heel.
Yeah, and I think the most talked about aspect of the year, those also revolve around Cena, but after the heel turn happened, people were already debating which heel turn was better, his or Hogan's. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my homie, Ariel Hawani. Mm-hmm. I know he did a whole piece on this, and we talked about it, in DMs or whatever. But now we have hindsight. So the moment of Cena's is, I think, bigger because more people watched it. Yeah. And more people knew. I mean, he was in a stadium. He was on a PLE, on the road to WrestleMania. Like, people knew The Rock was coming. Mm-hmm. People knew Travis Scott was probably coming. Like, there were a lot of eyeballs for when it happened. Yeah. Hogan's was a regular PPV in the South. Yeah. And people heard about it, like, way later. Yeah. So it's Hogan's heel run is, of course, better, and it was longer. There's no debating that. But the turn itself, I still give the nod to Cena because more people saw it, more people cared in the moment.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Like, I just feel like I think that's not my nostalgia talking. That's 12-year-old Julian who, like you said, GK, like, my mom was not paying for no pay-per-view, like, at all back then. So the way that I used to watch pay-per-views is my uncle would pay for it. He would record it for me, and he would give me the tape, like, a week later. But it's like I went to school the next day after it, and everybody was like, oh, he's a bad guy. Hogan's a bad guy. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because this was unfathomable to me. And then I watched Nitro that night, and then saw him come out in the black and all that. So to 12-year-old me, who my whole life was a Hulkamaniac at that point, it was like that blew my mind. So that's why I think with my nostalgia glasses on, I'm like, that's the number one heel turn. But I will say that for a lot of kids that came up with Cena, this was probably even more shocking and bigger. And like you said, they had easy access to it. Right. Because not like back then when you had to pop in like $50 a pay-per-view, you could just turn on Peacock and it was right there. And so it's a lot easier to see the stuff nowadays than it was back in the day.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to add. I think I'm going to feel the same when LeBron retires and Steph retires and KD and Ronaldo and Messi. Like, I'll feel it's different when they're not your childhood heroes. They're the people you respect the most as grown men. Yeah. When you're near the same age as these dudes, and you've literally followed them your whole career, but as a grown-ass man, it hits different. Yeah. Because you know so much more about what it takes and all the trials and tribulations and the grind that all these performers go through to achieve the level of success they achieve and sustain it. And then if you do it long enough, you become a legend. And you're in that rare air. Cena's in that air. Yeah. So to see them call it quits, they're happy that they can do it on their own terms, which is something you'll never understand as a child. Mm-hmm. And it just really makes you so much more aware of you and, your non-infinite time. Yeah. Like weird story. My mom one day, like 10 years ago, sometimes she'll go on random Costco runs and think of me. Yeah. You never know why people think of you. Oh, buying in bulk. Oh, maybe maybe my son needs dude wipes. By the stack.
Bucket load of dude wipes.
So, I think I've told you this before. I hate doing laundry. Yeah. It is not especially if you live in the city and you don't have a washer and dryer unit in your crib. Yeah. It is one of the most inconvenient, life force sucking things I could possibly think of. So I only do laundry maybe 5-6 times a year. Get at me. Like, I'm one of those dudes where I will order more drawers on Amazon to put off doing the laundry. I'm like that. And then I'll complain when my laundry load is 3 months long and it takes my whole night away. Mm-hmm. So one day my mom's like, you know what, I brought you this Kirkland detergent pods from Costco, and it has 50 bags in it, and that was the first time I felt old because I was like, Mom, this is not a gift. This is an hourglass. I know that by the time I finish this, I'll probably be damn near 50. Yeah. 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 That was when I knew, uh-oh. Yeah. So
Yeah.
these kind of things hit different. You don't think of these things as a kid.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy, and
Yeah.
life accelerates. And it's crazy, man, because me and you, and I was thinking about this when Cena was retiring. I remember when I would go to shows with GK here at the Izod Center in Jersey, when the Izod Center still existed, to see Cena against Kurt Angle and all that. This was like near the beginning of Cena's run in WWE. We're talking like 2005, 2006. So to be here 20 years later. And we're now fully grown men. Because back then we were kids. We were babies. We were like in our early 20s. We thought we were grown. We weren't really grown. We thought we were grown. But then we would go. We would have a good time. We would drink. We would talk about the show. And it was all good. And now here we are. Old men. Like, well, let's say old men. Let me not age us.
OGs.
OGs, yes.
Yeah.
Unks, as the kids say.
And Cena, man, WrestleMania 20, I was there. And for anybody who's watched WrestleMania 20 or want to, you'll see me clear as day, no pun intended. So Cena's the opening match. He comes out, he does his freestyle. He's coming out wearing a Patrick Ewing jersey, so it as if he didn't already have my heart already. And
we're Knicks fans, if you can't tell.
Yes. We can talk about that in the next podcast.
Yes.
And if you look at his freestyle when he's running down the Big Show. He gets to the bar, everybody knows he can't see me. Everybody knows he can't see me. My style's like a swollen penis. You can't beat me. Now, I don't work for WWE production, but the way I see it in my head, Vince or somebody in the truck was like, cameraman, find somebody black, find somebody black, find somebody black, find somebody black. And the camera just zooms right to me.
Yeah.
And you'll see me. I'm in the black and white headband with the Muhammad Ali shirt, and the dude in front of me is blocking my big gold Jesus piece because I had it like that. And I gave it the modest clap. I didn't know I was on TV. I didn't know that they found me. And my seats weren't even good. But that was Cena's first big moment in WWE as a wrestler, his first title win. Mm-hmm. So when I ever meet John Cena, this is my story. I helped validate him. Yeah. I helped give the Doctor of Thugonomics some street cred. And you see what he did with it. Yep. So you're welcome.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, it was, and this was back in the day. Like, I will say, like, quick tangent aside, is that I do love that now more and more black people are getting into wrestling. Because I do remember when we were kids and we were growing up, we were like the weird ones. Like, I'm kind of like the adopted weird family member from the outside with GK's family. Because, I met him through one of my best friends, and then me and him became best friends. And it's like, so I would always go to their family functions, and me and GK would be there talking about wrestling, and to be like, oh, you watch that thing? Why you guys watch that thing? And they didn't understand it, but we didn't care because we loved it. And it's like now I see more and more like kids, like, black kids, black adults, whatever, getting into wrestling, and I love it. Like when we go to shows now, we see a whole bunch. And I remember when we would go to shows, and it would be like us and maybe like 5 other black people, and that was it. Mm-hmm. So now it's nice to say that, like, more diversity in wrestling.
In stadiums.
Yes, in stadiums. Yes. So it's nice to see that. I will say that. Yeah. Little quick tangent.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on. Let's go to the feud of the year. What do you think was the feud of the year?
There's no way we're agreeing on this.
Okay.
And I actually gave this the most thought when you hear my answer.
Okay.
There's only one feud where not only was I genuinely entertained, but I'm like, man, what's going to happen next? It didn't last long. Mm-hmm. But I think it was one of those things that hit intentionally and unintentionally. So my feud of the year, unanimously, is Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns' shoes.
The tribal thief.
Yeah, bro. That's such old school bullying for no reason.
It was really good though. It was.
And Roman went with it. So yeah, that's my feud of the year. Bronson Reed versus Roman's damn shoes.
Listen, man, I'm not even mad at that because especially if you grew up in New York, like in the '90s, this was like a known thing. Like people would just like bully you for your shoes. Mm. Like they would just like take it, and then if they just wanted to be like real assholes, they would just take it and like throw it over like power lines or something to make sure you could never get it again. So like the fact that Bronson was like bullying Roman and then taking his shoes was an hilarious storyline. Like I honestly enjoyed it a lot, and I actually did have that on my short list of feuds.
How?
Because I love it too.
That was such a brainchild of mine.
Listen,
how?
The tribal thief, and I'm so mad I didn't get the shirt that had the Jordans on it before Nike tried to sue, and then they made them take it off, whatever. Because I would have copped that shirt so quick. Like, and I was so mad when I saw Bronson wearing it. I was like, oh, I gotta get that shirt. And then they immediately took it off the WWE website. But yeah, so that was one of them.
Yeah.
I will say overall, I feel like this was kind of a weak year when it came to feuds, especially compared to some previous years. Some previous years we had some great ones. We had Roman versus Cody. We had Hangman versus Swerve Strickland. We had Rhea versus Liv. Tony Storm versus Mariah May. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. So we've had some really great feuds the last few years. So this year was kind of like, eh. So there's only a couple, like, Becky Lynch, Lara Valkyria. I thought that was a really well done feud as well.
We were at SummerSlam though.
Yeah,
that did not pay off.
I know, and that's the thing. Like they didn't have a good payoff match. I felt like the feud leading up to the SummerSlam match was really good, but then they like tried to involve Bayley, and then it just like became weird. So that's why I didn't think it really. That's why ultimately it did not win my feud of the year. What won my feud of the year is Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley in AEW, because I feel like that whole storyline was really good, because the whole storyline was of Hangman's redemption, because he had been this good guy. He Swerve broke into his house, which made him go crazy, made him become this bad guy, this evil guy, and then he slowly started finding his way back to who he really is, and he realized he's really like the heart and soul of AEW. It's like, it's not Kenny Omega, it's not Will Ospreay, it's not the other guy, it's Hangman, because Hangman, like, Kenny already had his fame from New Japan, Swerve, Ospreay, all these other guys, they got their fame elsewhere, and then they came to AEW. Hangman wasn't really a known name before AEW. He'd wrestle in ROH, but he was the guy that really was like AEW born from day one and whatever. So I feel like he's the true pillar. Him and MJF, I feel like those two are like the real pillars of AEW. So to have him find his way back and ultimately defeat Moxley to get the title back when Moxley had like a stranglehold on the title for almost a year, I thought that was a really well done feud. So that's why I have to say Hangman Adam Page, Jon Moxley, feud of the year. Yeah.
All right, as y'all have figured out, I'm the WWE guy. My AEW moment of the year, and it's not even close. MGF is in Happy Gilmore too. That's it. That's.
I mean, he was really good in Happy Gilmore.
That's what did it for me. But come on, man! Come on! I went to GCW.
Yes.
In a blizzard.
Yes.
At Manhattan Center.
Yeah.
Come on, and that's a tough one. The homie who invited me gets a whole lot of press passes, and Sabu didn't wrestle, but Sabu was there, and this was less than a month before he passed.
Yeah.
And I have a picture with me and Sabu from my senior year of high school, and and I'm bigger than him, so in the picture he's doing this, and I'm too cool for school in my leather jacket. So when I heard Sabu was there, and I showed my homie the picture, it's like, oh wow, that's cool. So then before he left, he's like, yo, man, you want to take a picture with Sabu? So I got to take a picture with Sabu, the same picture, 25 years apart.
That was really cool.
Yeah, and then he passed away maybe a month after that. But that's one of my personal moments of 2025.
Yeah. Listen, also go to support your independent wrestling shows. It's great. You get to see some legends like GK just mentioned, and you get to see some great up and coming wrestlers. We went to a House of Glory show earlier in the year. That was great. That was fun. So definitely support your independent wrestling. Yeah.
And support your independent wrestling homies.
Yes.
Shout out to Matt Awesome.
Yeah, Matt Awesome. That's our guy.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's go to breakout star of the year. I think there was a couple of really good nominees for this category, but I'm curious to hear, GK, who do you think was the breakout star of 2025?
Well, I have written down NXT, so it's got to be somebody from in there, because it's the first year I actually started watching it. It's the first year I actually started feeling compelled to watch it.
I've been trying to get him to watch for years, y'all. He finally started doing it this year.
I'm still not enthralled for the whole 2 hours. They're the minor league for a reason, respectfully. No, but really respectfully.
Yeah.
I think Ethan Page is what are y'all waiting for?
Yeah, he's
this dude knows who he is.
Yeah,
what are you talking
bring
about?
him up already.
So Stephanie Vicaire is my runner-up. So if I have to choose someone from NXT, I think Javon Evans is being more exploited than showcased. That's my personal take right now. Trick Williams got it, bro. And, let's talk about it. That just works. So it's down to Sol Ruka and Obafemi. I'm going with Oba. I think Oba is the breakout star even before he makes it up to the main roster. Because if you saw Saturday night's main event, him versus Cody, there were no crickets.
No.
They knew him.
It looked good.
The SmackDown before, they knew him.
Yep.
So, I think it's Oba. Man, he's going to do some big things, boy.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Listen.
The ruler.
Yeah. Me and GK, we've had this discussion where we feel like there's like between Oba, Trick, and Javon, like I think that one of those three are going to be the new face of WWE because there's been a lot of like, oh, Cena's retiring, who's going to be the new face? And Cody's the face for now, but Cody's not going to be the face for much longer. So who's the next guy? And I think it's one of those three. And because when I look at the roster, like the full roster now, like a lot of the guys are getting older. A lot of the guys in the main event scene are getting older. So when I look at the new blood coming up, out of like all the new blood, those three are the ones that stand out to me that they have it. Their star power just exudes from them. Oba, his look, and not only his look, the fact that he's also really good in the ring, and he's a good promo. He's very underrated when it comes to his promo because he knows his beats. He knows he doesn't try to talk too fast. He doesn't try to whatever. He doesn't try to be too cool. He's like, I'm the ruler. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to squash you. I'm going to defeat you. I'm going to humble you. Like he knows what he is, and that's why it comes across as so intimidating and authentic. It comes like you feel like, yo, this Oba could beat the shit out of me. Like he has that aura. So that's like, the kids talk about aura. Oba has it. Trick has it. Trick is like, I don't know what they're waiting on. That man should be on the main roster already. Like he's got everything you could possibly want. He's got the look. He's got the skill in the ring. He's much improved. I remember watching Trick when he first came in, and he could barely. He had 2 left feet, so he worked his ass off to become a really good wrestler. And on the mic, forget about it. He'll go toe to toe with anybody on the mic. So Trick also. Stephanie Bakura you mentioned, Sol Ruka you mentioned. So there's a lot of people that were really, in the running for that breakout star. But ultimately... Can
I add 2 more?
Yeah,
because I know you're not going to list them.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
On commentary.
Yeah.
And my other runner-up, Mr. Iguana. Not the dude, just the iguana.
Just the iguana.
Yeah. Okay.
The iguana itself, yes. I also even though he's been around for a minute, another nominee was Joe Hendry, because even though he's been in TNA and popular for a while, I feel like this is the year that the world knew Joe Hendry. Like my beautiful wife Jen, she didn't know who this dude was, and then he popped out at WrestleMania, and she immediately fell in love with him. So now, anytime I'm watching and she hears Joe Hendry's music, she'll be in the other room and she'll come in just to sing his theme song. So that's when I was like, okay, this dude got something. So he was a nominee that I had.
He does. I agree. I just felt this way last year.
Yeah. Yes.
So I feel like it's overcooked.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
That's my personal take, but hopefully I'm wrong.
I feel like it was brewing last year, and a lot of people got on train, but I feel like this is the year where it really kind of took off. I do think it's going to dissipate, and it's going to go down. They're going to have to do something else with him, because they can't go off of the theme song and the clapping for too much longer before it gets boring, so they're eventually going to have to change up his character. But for right now, I think it's really good. But ultimately, Breakout Star 2025, I had to give it to my man Javon Evans. And the reason is because this kid, he did an interview where they said, did you feel pressure to be something else or whatever? And he said that Shawn Michaels and all them told him, be himself. Because that's what connects. He has this level of energy and authenticity that just radiates through the screen, that you're just you want to root for this kid. We were there in the Garden when he faced Gunther, and that crowd was getting so behind him. And you could tell that there was a good portion of the crowd that didn't know who he is when he came out. When he came out, his entrance was during the commercial break. And not a lot of people knew who he was, but by the end of that match, they were fully behind him. He gets you invested, and I feel like that's going to be, when they do eventually call him up, that's going to be a huge thing. I feel like he's going to be a future world champion, because just from charisma and his in-ring ability, oh my God, he can do everything. And because even though he's kind of skinny, he's tall, and he could always bulk up. If you look at some guys that were skinny in the past, like Swerve, Will Ospreay, these guys bulk the hell up. So I feel like Javon's going to bulk up as he gets older, because he's only 21, 22. Yeah. So as he gets older, he's going to get bigger, and he's already tall, and he already has the athleticism. He's just going to get better and better. So Javon Evans, that's my breakout star, 2025.
That's our closest to agreeing so far.
Let's do, how about for the next one, we do the worst moment or match of the year. So GK, what do you think was the worst moment or match in wrestling in 2025?
This is easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
My runner-up is the whole Ron Killings thing going nowhere. That's my runner-up.
Yeah.
But again, when you look back at the year, what might you remember? If you're really about it, all the injuries is my worst moment of the year. There were too many.
Yeah.
Not that there's ever a great time to be injured, because I was going to say ill time, but come on, Kevin Owens, Bianca, Seth, and that's just 3.
Yep.
So Liv,
and it killed the storylines that they were building towards.
Yeah. So to me, that's what it, and that's what. I'm not gonna say 2025 was a down year. It's just that I feel like we were so spoiled from 2023 and 2024 that something had to give.
Yes.
And I think it's still too soon to make any sort of hard judgments on how well the Triple H era is going.
Mm-hmm.
But Triple H has proven with 2024 that he can roll with the punches. Yeah. He knows how to improvise. He knows how to adapt. Like, he knows how to make a turbulent ride land.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, it lands in a better spot than they originally planned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting to see what Triple H can do when he gets you from plan A to plan Z. Just as scripted, as the way he wants it. Yeah. That's what's yet to be seen. And I always wonder, how would Vince have handled Cena's last year?
Yeah, it's true.
I
don't think Vince would have had the, not to say the grapefruits to turn him heel. I feel like, I will say, I think with Triple H's booking, he's a little bit more, he reminds me of early Vince. I feel like Vince in his later years got a little bit too complacent, a little bit too like, okay, this guy fits this role, so I want to leave him. I don't want to ruffle too many feathers. The fans like him, whatever. Whereas Vince back in the day, I remember when The Rock was red hot in '98, the fans loved him, and Vince said, we're going to turn him heel. And it made him even hotter. And that was a risky move, because at that time he was the second most popular guy in the company, and people probably said, "What are you doing? You finally got someone to back up Stone Cold as the second best." And Vince said, "No, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna turn him heel. It's gonna make him even hotter, and then when I turn him back face, he's gonna be the biggest guy in the company." And that's exactly what happened. So I feel like Triple H has kind of that temerity. I mean that drive, that moxie, I'll say, that Vince used to have, that in his later years he kind of lost.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like for worst moment of the year, to me this was an easy pick. It's like I didn't even list any nominees for this one, because it was just so clear in my head, and that was the John Cena Cody Rhodes match at WrestleMania 41. To me, it was because it was built up. It was so built up. And we were so excited for it. And we were here we have heel John Cena against face Cody Rhodes. You have The Rock involved. You have it was this is going to be, amazing. What's going to happen? And then you have Travis Scott's music hit. And then he takes legitimately 5 minutes to get to the ring. Not even in a rush. So Cody has to act like he's dead. Cena has to smile goofily for whatever while he's sauntering down to the ring. It didn't make any sense. Why is Travis Scott in a WrestleMania main event affecting the outcome? I didn't have any problem with him being involved and being kind of like the Dennis Rodman to whatever, Rock and Cena's heel group was going to be. But the fact that The Rock just disappeared and now it's going to be based off of Travis Scott, it just made WrestleMania end on such a negative, bad note that even though I felt like WrestleMania overall was a good show both nights, that's all that everyone remembered from it. That's how you know that it's a really bad moment, that you had that amazing triple threat between Bianca, Io, and Rhea, and you had that other amazing triple threat between Punk and Seth and Roman. But the only thing people remember from that weekend is that badass, horrible Cena Cody match with Travis Scott getting involved. So that's my worst moment match of the year.
Hard to argue that, but to add some inside baseball. Now I'm watching a whole lot of Cena interviews because he says inside baseball a lot. That was the plan, because if he's going to ruin wrestling, because that was also the day he debuted the all black screen. If he's going to ruin wrestling, he can't give the people what they want at all. And that wasn't the end of what they were going to do. The whole it was a build up for SummerSlam. So their program was supposed to be for months.
Yeah.
It was never going to. So the WrestleMania main event was never going to be what it usually is. But by their accounts, that was the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I will say sometimes
Travis didn't help.
yes, it just like I just feel like it was not. That's the thing that sticks out about WrestleMania, and that should never be the type of thing that sticks out about WrestleMania.
I agree.
So that's why I couldn't.
I agree. I left Easter Sunday early for that main event. I get it.
Next, let's do show of the year. You know, nowadays, like, is it called a pay-per-view, PPV, is it called a premium live event, PLE, whatever. Or it could be a Raw, a SmackDown, a Dynamite, like, just what wrestling show this year entertained you the most, GK?
Oh, for me, this was easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Raw premiere on Netflix.
Okay.
To me, it's just it's a no-brainer. It's the only one that had buzz.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one that other people who don't even follow the wrestling scope were excited about into.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much of a big deal moving to Netflix is.
Yeah.
Now they're global
Yeah.
every week, and they're not hardened to a time slot. And the international audience gets a better showing than we do.
It's true.
Because they don't get no commercials. They get all the inside baseball that we don't get.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody came out. It was better than the wrestling delivered. And the thing that went most viral, that's the last time you saw Hogan.
Yeah.
And they booed him mercilessly out of the building, out of the stratosphere.
Yeah.
To the point where he couldn't pivot.
Yeah.
It was...
Couldn't recover.
Right. And I am in no way a Hulk defender or apologist or any of the sort. I think WWE set him up with that, because you don't boo LeBron or Jordan like that. You don't boo Messi, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You don't boo Gretzky like that. You don't boo the greats in the house that they built like that. I'm not saying the crowd was wrong.
No.
But what was WWE thinking? Like what did they think the outcome was going to be? Did they really think that he had that much currency especially in this day and age where people give no Fs, that wouldn't happen? Yeah. Especially in LA.
In LA.
So that wasn't, and they put him like towards the end of the show, so you know that he's supposed to be the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. The Raw Netflix premiere, that's one of the buzziest shows in WWE history. As long as I've been watching, I had people that I know that don't even watch wrestling that were like, WWE's on Netflix now, coming because they know I'm the wrestling guy. They know that I'm into wrestling. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be on Netflix, and they were like, oh, I might check it out. And then some of them actually did check it out. They actually watched it because it was like, it's on Netflix. Who doesn't have Netflix nowadays? Mm-hmm. So they were like, oh, okay, this wrestling show. I haven't watched wrestling in years, but I'll check this out. It's on Netflix. Right. So and they got huge numbers for that premiere, and it was a monumental show. It's going to be known as one of the most monumental shows in wrestling history because it opened them up to a whole new audience. So I mean, definitely a great pick with that one. For me, I had it really down to three main shows that really caught my eye this year. One of them was Wrestle Dynasty. That's a New Japan pay-per-view, but they collaborated with AEW and CMLL, and it was just a fantastic show. I can't recommend it enough to anybody who hasn't seen it. AEW Revolution. It had three of the best matches of the year, Ospreay versus Fletcher in a steel cage match, Toni Storm versus Mariah May, that Hollywood ending match, amazing, and Kenny Omega versus Takeshita, which was another amazing match. But ultimately, show of the year, I had to give it to WWE Elimination Chamber, and the reason I gave it to Elimination Chamber is because not only did both chamber matches delivered. So that's number one, because sometimes you have the Elimination Chamber matches that either don't deliver, they're not exciting. Both matches were exciting. So the chamber matches alone were great. Then you had that fantastic Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens match. That was just like brutal. Like it's the kind of match that only two best friends could put on because they just like beat the ever loving shit out of each other for our entertainment, and it was amazing. But then, of course, what seals it as the best show of the year to me was the Cena heel turn, because it's like my favorite shows are when you can mix in fantastic wrestling with great storytelling. Those are the best shows to me. And I feel like the one show this year that encompassed all that was Elimination Chamber, because they gave you the great wrestling and then they capped it off with one of the best storytelling moments of the year, like with that amazing heel turn. Like, of course, we know the heel turn didn't go as planned. It wasn't as good as we were predicting it to be, but the moment itself was so shocking and amazing. That's why I got to give Elimination Chamber my show of the year.
All right, we almost agreed there, too.
Yeah.
But I'm with you with everything you said on that. Also, shout out to Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You're good. You know, like, I was never anti-Logan Paul, but, like, you know,
Yeah.
people are just hating if you don't think he's just naturally got it.
Yeah.
And another injury, Penta.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was having a great year, too. Another good one for breakout of the year. Even though he's been around for a minute, but he's, like, really started to break out in front of a large audience now. So, yeah. So, final category of the night. Best match of the year. GK, I mean, this was, and it's like you kind of alluded to this earlier, where, you know, people are saying, like, you know, this is a down year. And it's like, yeah, compared to 2023 and 2024, which were some of the best years in recent memory, of course, it didn't live up to that expectation. But I feel like in ring, this was a phenomenal year. There was so many great matches across so many different companies. Like TNA found their mojo again. They had a lot of great matches. New Japan found their mojo again after a couple of down years. AEW was stellar as always. They always have great matches. WWE, of course, had their great matches. So I feel this was a really strong year in ring-wise. But what would you say, GK, is the best match of 2025?
I think of all the categories, this is the one that's mostly based on personal preference. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to each their own. To 6, 7, I'm not trying. I don't get it, and I don't care. So I am going to remember the most. And I always think in terms of how do I get non-wrestling fans to get it? Like, we talk about this every year all the time. What are the matches we show them? What card are we booking to get them in it? So, you know, you don't have to explain anything. I love Cena versus AJ Styles, but that's very inside baseball.
Yeah.
My runner-up is the first triple threat at WrestleMania between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. Yeah. But the match that I'm going to remember the most, that I think is going to be an easy sell to most people, and we were there, and I don't think it's talked about enough.
Yeah.
Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Bro, what a great story.
I mean, it was a great story, and it definitely overachieved as a match. But I love this pick because there's not, like, this just shows the, like, especially when I show my pick, we're going to see, like, the wide gamut of our wrestling taste, but how similar we are in our love of wrestling, and that's why we always love going to shows together. But that's why I love this pick.
Man, and the build, they were on Jimmy Kimmel. They were, man, and props to Jelly Roll. Like, Jelly Roll is a true fan and truly honored the business. And you know how you know that? He didn't win.
Yeah. Yes.
He gladly, gracefully took the pin.
Yes, which I loved. Because most celebrities, like, when they come in, they want to win. They want the glory. But Jelly Roll got it. He's like, I'm not a wrestler. I was training for maybe 2 months. It's like, I should not win this match. That would be ridiculous. And he got it, and he wanted to lose, and he did lose, which is what should happen in a case like this.
Right. I mean, like a Bad Bunny, you could tell he's still young and has some athleticism, so he's still the GOAT amongst celebrity involvement who don't become full-time.
Yeah.
And they made Jelly Roll look like a beast. Logan and Drew bumped so well for him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, Randy was the perfect guy to make it feel so secure. It was sports entertainment.
Yes.
And I feel like, so that's my match that makes me smile for 2025.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, we were there, and I will say that crowd was going crazy for that match. It really grabbed the crowd. It's like, and I love that match too. So like, don't get me wrong. I just love the pick because it's like when you come to my pick, it's like it's so different. But this is what makes wrestling beautiful, and this is why I love wrestling so much. Is because you can have a match like that with celebrity involvement that's just like over the top and crazy, but just like sucks you in. And then we have a match like the one that I'm going to mention right now, which I think was just like a masterpiece of wrestling. And it's, I mean, just to throw out a couple of the nominees this year, you mentioned the AJ Styles Cena match at Crown Jewel, Will Ospreay Hangman at Double or Nothing, Cena versus Cody at SummerSlam. I felt was also a really good match.
Were there?
Yep. Mike Santana against Josh Alexander, TNA Genesis. Cody versus Kevin Owens. That ladder match at Royal Rumble was crazy. You got, like I mentioned, all the matches from Revolution, like Takeshi Omega, Oba, Javon, and Trick that they had to stand and deliver. So just like really good matches all throughout. And I mean, I have a whole list of matches because that's how good the year was. But the one that I ultimately went with was very early in the year. One of the first matches of the year, January 5th, actually. It was at the event Wrestle Dynasty that I had mentioned before. And this match was between Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd. And, for anyone who hasn't watched New Japan, Gabe Kidd is like a new up-and-coming wrestler in New Japan, and his whole thing is like he loves New Japan. New Japan is a place that gave him a chance to be a pro wrestler, and he hates the fact that, New Japan has this partnership with AEW and other organizations, and he feels like they kind of get little broed. Like, New Japan is kind of like thought of as like the afterthought in comparison to these two big organizations, and it bothers the shit out of Gabe Kidd. So he was like, I'm going to challenge the star of AEW, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is the biggest star that AEW, it could be argued because you have like John Moxley and Will Ospreay and all that. But Kenny Omega, really, that's who him and Jericho were the two big stars that the company were founded on, right? So he challenges Omega to this fight. Now, Omega had come back. He had diverticulitis like Brock Lesnar had before. So him coming back to wrestle in any capacity is a miracle. But he doesn't just come back. Because he's Kenny Omega, he has to have one of the most insane, crazy matches of all time against Gabe Kidd. And if you have not seen this match, I implore you, go to YouTube, go to whatever thing you have to go, look up this match. It is fantastic. It's a match that's so good. Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is another wrestling legend, he's retiring in a couple of weeks. And he's basically like the John Cena of Japan. He's been there forever. He's the guy that really, when New Japan was on the down and outs, he's the one that brought them back up with his star power, and he's retiring in a couple of weeks. This match was so good. He was sitting ringside, and he started crying, full tears, because he was just he said, this is what wrestling's about. It's one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. And this is coming from him, who's a legend himself. And he started to cry because of how good the match was. So that's my match of the year. Kenny Omega, Gabe Kidd, Wrestle Dynasty.
You'd think I'd have something to add to that.
I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you so you can watch it. And I don't think you're going to agree that it's the match of the year, but I think you will admit that it's a very good match.
I think this is a perfect portrayal of just how alike and how different we are and where and how. Because there's no way I could have a woman at the crib and show her that match and she'll be on board.
No way.
No
way.
Last year I was living so good last year, bro. Yeah. You know how easy WrestleMania 40 was to sell?
Oh, that was the easiest.
Rock, Roman, Cody's story, and even Seth. Seth is a vibe if you look at him at first. You know? Yeah.
He got the look.
Yeah. So it's this year's tricky. So I know you want me to get wiped up and everything, but I think 2025 wrestling has pushed that further away.
It's made it a little bit harder for you.
Yeah.
See, I have the benefit. I'm fortunate. I was married. I met my beautiful wife early in my life. We've been married for years now. So I have the fortune of being able to be this nerdy because I have a woman who loves me regardless of how ridiculous and she just knows. And she'll she's like Germ. When the big matches, the spectacle matches are on, she's there for it. When Roman's on, when Drew McIntyre, oh my God, when Drew McIntyre's on the screen, forget it. I have to stop her from drooling. So this is the things that bring a lot of women into wrestling. So she's fully into that. But once I start throwing on my New Japan, and she's like, all right, night. She's like, you enjoy it. I'm out of here. And I get it because it's very niche, but I love it. Like I just love stuff like that. That's what I grew up on. When I grew up, I did, like, my uncle, like, who I mentioned earlier, sent me the wrestling tapes. He recorded everything, like, because he was super into wrestling. So it wasn't just WWE. It was WCW. It was ECW. It was WCCW. It was like anything that was around, AWA, like whatever was around, he would record it and he sent it to me.
GWF.
So, yes.
On ESPN.
Yes, everything. So that's what I grew up with. So I love watching all the promotions, everything. So that's why. But I get it. I'm in that, like, very small percentage of wrestling fans, because most wrestling fans, they want to watch the spectacles, the moments, and I do like that stuff. But I'm all about the work rate. I'm that guy. Yeah. So.
And you find a really smaller percentage of women who will love you anyway. Because if you really do the math, right? I'm single. I should have all these free extra time to watch all this extra wrestling beyond WWE. Just watching WWE alone in itself. If you're just watching the 3 shows, that's 3, 2, and 2.
Yes.
Right? You do the math.
Yes.
I can't even do the math.
6 or 7.
I can't even do the math.
It works.
Right
It works.
Yeah. But if you're watching AEW too, and New Japan, and
Yeah.
when, how, who?
It's time consuming, I will say, but I have a wife that understands. I watch her shows with her, like, she wants to watch it, and also check out our pop culture podcast, because we're going to talk about that. So I watch my movies with my wife. We watch our shows together. Our Love Islands are like, which you got to get into Love Island, man. Love Island is.
I finally got briefed on that,
Yeah,
and it's too late for me.
If you want to talk about a show that you can talk to about with women, Love Island. They all are watching that.
I know, but each season is like 49 episodes, and each episode is dumb long. Like it's and there's like 30 seasons. It's way too late. You have to be there live. It's like wrestling. You have to experience it.
Get on the boat this summer. When it comes back this summer, get on the boat early. Start from the first episode, and I'm telling you, you're going to get so many dates just off of Love Island because everyone's watching it.
I don't know, man. I mean, The Bachelor still works.
He's an OG.
Love Island does not work because it just makes you not believe in love with 20/20 vision.
Yes.
Let alone blind. That show is just such a Is just such a choo-choo wreck.
Yeah, Love is Blind.
But that's all for the other podcast,
yes.
Joe. Right.
We're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah,
we'll
quick.
go on tangents.
2026 predicts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What are some I'm gonna give some hot takes here.
Yeah.
First of all, some people actually do the social media game well. So yeah, there's some people that show you too much how the sausage is made. But then, like, New Day is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Becky is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Drew,
Yes.
Drew McIntyre, like, phenomenal. So
Great.
follow, so shout to them. I hope that continues. My big takes 2026. I think Jericho comes back to WWE.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
AJ's going to retire. Brock's going to retire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bayley goes to AEW. I think Bayley jumps.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with all those predictions. I think Bayley's definitely jumping. Just whenever her contract's up, because you can tell that she wants to go to AEW. She wants to be with Mercedes. So that's going to happen. Like in terms of Jericho coming back 100%. Like he's going to come back. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement in general between AEW and WWE this year. And also TNA. TNA finally got like their big TV deal. So I do predict that TNA is going to like move up in stature. They're going to get more free agents, get a lot more attention. And overall, I feel like next year, I think for all companies, it's going to kind of level out and be a little bit more consistent than this year. I'm hoping less injuries. I'm hoping more consistent storytelling, better feuds. So that's really my biggest prediction for 2026. It'll be more stable than 2025 was. Mm. Yeah.
Also, the vision will not see past 2026.
Yeah, no. The vision is like, I feel like this is just a showcase to bring up Braun Breaker. And once that's achieved and he becomes a champion, the Vision are going to kind of go their own way.
Yeah, I feel like this is Heyman's last stand.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Not that he's going to retire or anything like that, but as far as like being the guy that can just make anybody a Paul Heyman guy, the guy, I think the buck has to stop this year because, a lot of things are not in his control.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that's why Seth couldn't be my wrestler of the year. The injury didn't help.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was working that well before the injury.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we don't know what their actual plan was or what the timeline was. But, you know, those are missteps like that. I feel like Jay had a good first half of the year.
Yeah.
The second half,
Yeah.
Gunther should be an unstoppable monster. I don't like his loss to Jay this year, and I don't like his loss to Sammy last year.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-Sammy or Jay. I'm glad they got their moments, but I feel like Gunther should be that next monster. And when he feuds with Lesnar next year, you'll see what.
Yeah. But I feel like Gunther had to have those losses to build him up. Like when he lost to Sammy, that was to get him out of the mid-card and into the world title scene.
Yeah, he recovered from that.
Yeah, and then when he lost to Jay, it was like, okay, now we're going to have you be the guy who retires Goldberg and John Cena. So, and I feel like his next step is probably going to be retire Brock Lesnar. Like, I think he's going to be like the new age version of the Legend Killer, like Randy Orton back in the day. And he's going to keep collecting these, like, Infinity Stones. And he's going to become like the WWE's version of Thanos, where he's, like, unstoppable. And it's like whatever babyface beats him next is, like, a made man. So I think that's kind of what they're building towards with Gunther.
Also going back to the original theme music, the Walter presentation.
Yeah.
Good call, whoever that was.
Yes.
Yeah, and next year, hopefully it will not be as Def Rebelled.
Please, better music.
Respectfully.
You know it's a bad year when AEW had better music than WWE. WWE can always hang its hat on having the best theme music of any pro wrestling organization, but they got outclassed this year by AEW. AEW has some bangers this year. So WWE, get on your shit. Please. I need my my gym beats, my WWE, like, you know, that meme when it's like, you know, in my headphones you think I'm listening to Lil Wayne. Nah, son, I'm listening to Shinsuke Nakamura's theme. That's what I'm listening to get pumped. So that's what we need, more wrestling bangers.
Yes. Yeah, man. I mean, and put Jim Johnston in the Hall of Fame, please.
Already. Like, come on now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that's enough for 2025.
Yeah, that's a good wrap. That's a wrap for 2025 in the wrestling year. But, you know, stay with us because this is just the beginning. Like I said, revamped. We're coming back, like, you know, bigger and better than ever. We got a studio. We got a logo. Look at us. So we're going to come back with more wrestling hot takes. And, you know, we'll see you in 2026.
Yeah.
And for GK, this is your boy Julian. Jamaica Alpha. Out.
Thank you for listening to the Julian and G.K. podcast.
And it's true.
The Julian and G.K. podcast.